Greetings, Patrick here, A Question Swift, and welcome to the show. Tonight we will be talking with Josh Bell from Reel to Reel, and also our good friend and fellow in the waiting anyway. I think he's spiritually an IFC Midnighter. Our good friend Kenny from Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. As you know, they got their podcast up and running every other Tuesday. And they come out there with great topics, and they talk about them. And of course, Josh himself has a really cool channel. And Josh, tell us a little bit about your channel. What's going on?
So just called Real Talk. I actually have two shows going, a third starting, and a fourth in the works. We're kind of trying to build something over here, but Real Talk, the main channel, is just me, generally speaking, going down rabbit holes of entire directors' filmographies. The channel right now, we're at the tail end. I have one more episode on Tim Burton. The last episode will come out. Today's Wednesday, so Friday. The Beetlejuice episode drops on Friday, and then on my other channel, it's Real Talk Horror Edition. And it's just me nerding out on horror movies because I love the gross. And then I'm starting up a new channel as of March 3rd called Real Talk Grim Edition. So a little about my personal life. I have a master's degree in English. So I'm breaking down in that show. It's just me reading Grimm's fairy tales and then applying the morals and the life lessons to a modern society. So those are the three channels that we're running right now.
I thought maybe you were going to be talking about the TV show.
That's what I thought when you said Grimm. I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. I don't think there's anybody out there that does that.
No. I wanted one bookish channel, so I had to start doing something bookish. But
okay. I did that yesterday. I had novelist Christopher Farnsworth on yesterday. Mm-hmm. And hey, Stacy, how are you? Phil is here from Phil's Creepy Videos is here. And hi, Anthony, how are you? Hopefully you're doing well. Anthony got himself a publisher, he said.
Awesome. Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, Anthony. It's funny. I lost my track with this, but I will say about Grimm real quick. I know there's. Mm-hmm. They did one movie with the Grimm brothers, with Matt Damon and
the Brothers Grimm,
Grimm, which was a lot of fun. And also they did the Grimm TV show, and they said that they're gonna bring it back.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting.
It was one of my wife's favorite shows when it was on. She absolutely
mine too. I actually own the whole series.
Yeah.
So I really, once in a while I'll take it out for a spin, and I thought that show was damn good all the way. The only thing I didn't like about it, because it was Angel, it was Angel. A lot of the people that worked on Angel, they did heist a little bit of some of the plots from Angel.
Yeah.
They, when they took Juliet and made her Eve, I'm going like, I've seen that before.
For sure.
I thought it was interesting. One of the executive producers of the show was Sean Hayes from Will and Grace.
Really?
Yeah. Him and his partner were executive producers of the show.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, he doesn't come across as the dark fairy tale kind of guy.
Apparently he's a very big horror fan.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I love that guy.
He was really good in I know he got shot to fame through Will and Grace.
Sure.
But I'll tell you the best thing I ever saw him in. He was on an episode of Scrubs.
Oh.
And it wasn't a funny episode either. It was a serious one.
Right.
Where you're watching him trying to save this kid's life, and he's
right. He's the hot shot that everybody looks up to. And
right.
He's really struck. Yeah, I remember that episode. That's a good one. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Powerful, just like think that people are invulnerable, and then they lose the patient, and
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job as Jerry Lewis. There was a TV movie about the younger days of Jerry Lewis with him and Dean Martin. And
Oh,
he played
yeah.
Jerry Lewis.
I didn't see
So,
that one.
Yeah, that was like a TV, movie of the week when they used to do those things.
Sure. Yep.
You know, it's funny. Those two guys, they started and ended their team.
Yeah.
10 years to the day.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that's trippy. It's almost like someone had a calendar with a circle.
Right.
And like as soon as they got there, the other one with the other one says, "Okay, that's it. We're breaking up."
Yeah.
We've
had enough. Move on. Oh man. Yep.
So I take it. I take it you're more into the horror thing then, Josh. Right?
So horror is my comfort genre. If I got nothing going on, if I'm not watching something for the podcast or I don't have some reason to watch something, horror is kind of my go-to. I tend to lean down that path more often. But I'll watch anything. I love movies in general, but yeah, horror is more, like I said, comfort genre. That's where I go to relax.
Now, are you more of a mainstream horror guy versus myself? I'm an indie guy. I love
with your IFC talk, for sure. Honestly, I would have to say I guess I've been more mainstream just because they're the easiest ones to get a hold of and consume.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not afraid to watch anything, so I'll go down some weird indie channels, but it usually takes a recommendation for them to get on my radar, because I'm not looking in those places. I'm not linked into like you said, IFC Midnight and those kind of things. I need to broaden myself that way.
So if me and Kenny here, if we recommend to you that, we think that you really would enjoy a Human Centipede 1 and 2, you would take that.
When people recommend a movie to me, I generally ignore the "you will enjoy" part.
Oh,
but if you're telling me to watch it, I'm gonna do I want to see Human Centipede. I heard part 2 is actually a decent movie.
Yeah, the first two are really
I heard
good.
the third one, stay away from. The second one is the better movie, but the first two are fine to watch. But I have never gone down that path.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. The first two are really good, and then man, I'll tell you what the Centipede did for me, and I mentioned this before, man, but man, it just ruined Silence of the Lambs for me. It really did. It ruined it.
I love Silence of the Lambs.
I don't want to
ruin that. It's a
I'm
great movie.
It's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But then I saw the Human Centipede and going like, yeah, this Dr. Leiter would eat Hannibal Lecter for lunch.
The character is that intense.
Oh, he is out there. He's out there way. I
saw a screenshot. I've seen some shots and some little bits of it. He's got those big Peter Lorre wide eyes.
Yeah.
He's got the crazy eyes. So it definitely fits that kind of character.
Yeah, he does have that.
Hi, Brene. Hi, Emotion. Welcome on in. We got started just a tad bit early, but we are rocking and rolling already with a fellow film podcaster, Josh Bell, is our guest. Of course, some of you may remember seeing Kenny. Kenny is not only is he a film podcaster as well, but he is also a diehard IFC fan, such as myself. So you already know this is going to be a great conversation right here. That's right.
So, yeah. And actually, Kenny, I was doing my homework today. I started listening to your most recent episode, and I don't remember whose birthday it was.
Was Sean's yesterday.
Sean. So in the future, as of 2016, Happy Birthday is in the public domain. So keep singing your song, but you can bring Happy Birthday in there also. No, I thought that was hilarious. I loved the R-rated Happy Birthday song. That was pretty fun. That was pretty great. But yeah.
Thank you.
No, I plan to finish listening because I love the idea of the Love on the Rocks idea with Valentine's Day coming up. So I'll be listening to you while I do my paperwork tomorrow.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I kind of wanted to get a sense of who Kenny was, because Patrick mentioned you were going to be on. I got to watch some of his stuff, so I knew what to expect there. So had to listen to you too.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Of course, the real fun about listening to you guys talk too is like you sit there and you literally do this. You sit there with a piece of paper and a pen, and you look
Right.
at how long will it take for Sean and Kenny, or Jim, because Jim will sometimes do it himself, to mention Dirty Dancing.
I have a book right beside me that I write all notes and stuff on.
I was wondering if there was a story there, because when Dirty Dancing came up, somebody mentioned there's the first time it's mentioned. Yeah, so it came up pretty quick, because it fits into it's when you were talking about Ghost.
Yeah,
right,
and you went on this whole Patrick Patrick Swayze thing. Yeah. Because John Doe would do that movie, but not Valley Girl. See, I listen.
Yeah, thank you. Now the whole joke was I had put like in our chat, like our talking movies, we have a green room where everybody can access what everybody's. So I put on there about Dirty Dancing one time. Okay, because that was like my mom's favorite movie. Like if she was sick or something, put that on. And Jim just basically went like on a tangent, like literally just like F this, F that, going on about that. So Patrick likes to poke the bear. So he kept on doing that. So when I was hyping our podcast one day, I was just doing like quotes from it, nobody puts Jim in a corner, and then Sean was doing it. And then our other friends, Mike and Mr. Dan, were putting like little comments in there. And he's like, you bastards, you're all going to rot in hell.
I love it.
Like that. So Patrick likes to poke the bear with the Patrick Swayze stuff. And like on Christmas, I sent him, Mystery Science Theater making a Patrick Swayze Christmas. I sent that to him.
Nice.
So just good joshing fun. But like yesterday, I had to we talked on our podcast yesterday about unconventional love stories and love movies, and one of mine was Ghost. I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of the ultimate love stories between good and evil, and they have like so many different kinds of like layers wrapped into that. So that was one of them. So that's the whole backstory to
that's awesome. That's hilarious. I love
Dirty Dancing.
All right, now the joke will make sense when I hear it.
Yeah.
The thing is that most of us here, it's sort of funny. It's like for Dirty Dancing, it's like, I love Jennifer Grey. I think she is cute.
Sure.
It's not her. It's the dialogue that gets it for me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God. Someone actually put this. I mean, I must have been really hard to actually say some of that dialock.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. I mean, I can see Patrick Swayze go around the corner and go like, what the hell kind of line is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, you have to remember this is an '80s movie too, and this was this was like before the whole Hallmark stuff started rolling in.
The small.
So so if this was made, say, like a couple years later, this would have been a Hallmark or a CBS TV of the week.
Right.
Movie.
I one time was watching this. Dirty Dancing had been on, and then we were watching Red Dawn. And again, you have Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. When he lifts up the hatch and Jennifer Grey's down there, all I could think is, oh my God, someone put baby in the corner. Because that's where she is. But yeah. Speaking of Jennifer Grey, did you guys see A Real Pain? The new, the Jesse Eisenberg, Kieran Culkin.
No, I didn't.
No.
I recommend it. It's really good. It's very, it's a dramedy. It's got some funny moments, but it's real kind of sad. And Jennifer Grey's really good in it. But
we got people, we got folks coming in from Captain Jack Scrapper. Captain Jack has led a raid into the chat. Thank you so much. We are speaking with film podcaster Josh Bell, and also another film podcaster and Kenny Smith. As you can hear, we are talking films. We're talking Dirty Dancing, which is the unofficial film of Top Movies with me. Top Movies with Kenny, Sean, and Jim. He doesn't probably know that yet, but it's too bad. You guys should you guys should have the three of your faces and poses like the Three Stooges. They put Jennifer's face in there with it. You know,
that'd be great.
That's above my pay grade. That's on Sean. He's the genius behind everything. As I told him, I'm the looks.
You got to be someone's got to be the pretty face.
That's right, man. You got to do the Tom Selleck thing right here.
Yeah, you do.
Got to bring it up.
Hello, Phil. How are you? Glad you're here.
Hey.
Let's see. Sherry mentioned The Survivalist as far as a great IFC film. She also mentioned Hampstead, which starred Diane Keaton. The IFC does both drama and they do horror,
right?
And so you don't know what you're gonna get with IFC. That's like I have heard. I actually do own The Survivalist, but I don't have Hampstead. But then again, I waited for 3 years to get my Salinger year. That's
a very good movie, by the way. I just picked that up from Hamilton Book, not a sponsor.
No,
that movie was really good.
It looked great when I saw the previews for it. ISC film, I saw the previews for it, and it looked really good. It looked, like Sigourney Weaver and star of the moment, Margaret Qualley.
I had no idea she was Andy McDowell's daughter. I had no clue until after I watched The Substance.
And Andy McDowell has did a movie herself. She did a drama too. A love story. She had lost her husband, and it turned out to feature her very first nude scene in her career.
Really?
Wow!
Yeah. Great movie.
And she's got to be pushing 70 at this point, isn't she?
She's 62. 62.
All right. I guess she's younger than I thought.
Yeah.
I guess that just means I'm older than I thought. That's
all right. Hello, Lady Valerie. How are you? Linda Barker. Hello. Thank you guys all for coming in. I see Steve from Arizona is here with Lucas Boy. And Hamilton Book getting some love in the chat from Phil saying just got a 10 book order in. Yeah, that's
nice.
They're shipping it. Their shipping is the best.
Yeah, awesome.
Whether you get books or if you get movies, it's the shipping is just it's just the best. They keep their prices as low as they can go, and they're like I said, I dip around. I go there like every other month to see if anything new has come in.
Every month.
Are you a big physical media guy too, Josh? Are you a big? Do you have
so you see my small collection up here, and then off to my other side, I've got some more shelves, and then I've got the old. I've got about 3,500 DVDs in those old Case Logic folders, so they're easier to move in bulk.
Right.
Yeah, I love. You know what when I want to watch something, I want to watch it right now. And if I find something that I want to watch that's not streaming somewhere, then I end up ordering it so I have it. Like most recently, I don't know if you ever saw the 70s horror flick called Who Can Kill a Child? Well, it's Eli Roth made all of his cast watch it when he was doing Hostel. So it's a real brutal, visceral kind of horror flick from the 70s. But it wasn't streaming anywhere, not available to stream anywhere. So anytime that comes up, I have to buy it because if I want to see, I need immediate, instant gratification. If I want to watch it, I want to watch it now.
Right.
So I love my my physical media.
Yeah, I get that way too. It used to be really bad is when you see a movie come out the theater, right?
Yeah.
And you get all hyped up for it. You get all hyped up for that movie. But this is absolutely true. If you don't go and see that movie for the first weekend, the urge to see it drops.
It fades, yeah.
It fades instantly. It's like I didn't see it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You think,
And
you
now
think
it's going to take it popping up randomly on my For You line. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to see that. Then I end up watching it. Yeah. I want to, if I want to watch something, I want to watch it right now.
Because I used to do that, like for the superhero movies. I go out there and it's like, man, okay, so I missed it, but I'm gonna get it when it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So it would come out at Target, and I'd be going over there and hooking it up at Target,
Yeah.
Then I realized that my video store that I was going to, I realized that, they're carrying the same movies, but they're dropping their prices after 90 days. And
Yeah.
so as soon as I realized that, then all of a sudden it wasn't like I needed to get it right away.
Yeah.
All I need to do is sit back and wait, and then it'll
Yeah.
drop.
Oh, I love the old days of the video store getting those previously rented DVDs.
Yes.
I would stock up on all the previous rentals for sure.
Still see those. We still see family video movies floating through. We still see Blockbuster cases still flow through.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I managed a Blockbuster video back in 99, 2000. So a few years ago, but yeah, I was a manager. And so as soon as we started putting movies on previously viewed for sale, I got first dibs. I was taking them all before they got out to the shelf. But
I want to say hi to Van City Adventures. Roll it in here.
Hey.
Let's see. Ringo is here. Thank you for coming in, Ringo. Stacy has one for you, Kenny. She wants to know, can Kenny rank Captain Ron, Pure Luck, and Pure Luck? I think I know that one. And Three Fugitives. I think Pure Luck's that Lindsay Lohan movie, if I'm not mistaken.
No, Pure Luck is the Danny Glover one.
Yeah, it's Danny Glover.
And Martin Short.
Martin Short, he's super accident prone. Anything that can happen does happen.
Oh. Sounds like a Jim Carrey movie waiting to happen.
The funniest part in that is when he gets stung by the bee.
So and he blows up on the little puddle jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, though it's good to see Martin Short coming back, and he's had a renaissance of sorts.
That Only Murders in the Building really helped him out.
So let me ask you guys one question. I mean, this is something you guys talk about on your shows, but what do you guys feel like the future of TV is going to be? Do you feel like it's going to be how it is now in 10 years or so? Or where do you see? Where do you guys see it at?
I think the longer I live, the more cyclical I realize everything is. So my guess is that we're probably at that apex, and TV's going to start to come down. But right now, there are still so many good shows being made. But we see it in things like, a good example of kind of how the fluctuation goes was that True Detective. That first season was so good. The second series was so bad. And then the third started to get better. The fourth was a little bit better, but it's this whole ebb and flow. I do think 10 years, it probably goes back down, but I think we still got a good 3-4 years left. Things like White Lotus and the last season of Stranger Things. There's a lot of big shows that have a lot of hype that I think will carry us.
Yeah, me personally, I think the TV is stronger than the movies right now.
For sure.
Because you got especially if I was a big fan of this season of Landman.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching that, and other than the language,
mm-hmm.
I pictured this on CBS, like as a tentpole series for CBS.
Oh yeah,
like how they do it with like NCIS, like
mm-hmm.
Vancouver and all this other shit. I could see them doing Landman. I couldn't fathom why they didn't go for Yellowstone. They passed on Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how?
Mm-hmm.
How didn't this fit their programming?
Oh,
you put that on at Sunday nights at 8:00, and then you put Matlock, the new Kathy Bates, which I think is fabulous.
I was so pleasantly surprised with that show. Just the twist at the end of the pilot episode
Chef's
hooked
kiss.
Me. Yeah. Oh yeah, it hooked me. That was great. And but speaking of like the more of the Western theme stuff, like Netflix American Primeval is this. It just shows that you can tell a story that by doing it episodic, you can let the story breathe, and it can have those quieter moments. Whereas a movie, and it has to be done in 90 minutes to 2 hours, you can't have that. You can't let the characters grow, and you can't get that gritty feeling. Right. American Primeval does a great job of it. I think American Primeval is what Costner should have done with his big Western epic. Yeah. He should have done a series where he can draw it out and really get that feeling. But yeah, you're right though. There's so many shows that, and I never know, like what would Matlock have been if FX picked it up, and that's what we get with Landman. Because if CBS had picked up Yellowstone, it wouldn't have gotten quite as gritty, which wouldn't have led Tyler Sheridan to do the Landman the way he's doing it and where he's doing it. So yeah, there's a lot to that.
Yeah, because it was like the same with because I was a huge fan of 1883. Yeah, and I could not believe that, because I could picture that like growing up in the 80s, that would be your CBS, Sunday night movie of the week, or that was basically like your Lonesome Dove.
Exactly. That was the next 3 Sundays. This is what you're watching, this miniseries.
Yeah, and it was just like I could not. These executives, because basically comedy's dead now. Yeah. They don't trust it with all the the cancel culture out there. So they don't really go for any comedies, but they just retool all the. It's like, do I need to see another NCIS? All the Law and Orders.
Right. Yeah.
It's just basically the same stories. With just younger models as actors.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and you're right with the comedy stuff. It's all some knockoff of some other Chuck Lorre show.
Yeah.
And I can't stand any of the Chuck Lorre shows. They're not my kind of humor. They don't work for me, so I don't watch what's the new one? Something First Marriage, Mandy and
Young Sheldon.
Another spinoff. It's all this. Yeah, and Chuck Lorre. I actually learned this because I was on this hate dive, like finding all this stuff I hate about Chuck Lorre. And it turns out he actually was one of the artistic directors on the old 80s Heathcliff cartoons.
Wow.
That's where he got started. Wow. So I was like, dang, you started off so good and then you turned into the... But yeah, comedy, they're afraid of it or they just don't have any new ideas. It's bad right now.
Yeah, the last funny comedy that like a sitcom that I just like literally like laughed at every week was Community.
Yep. Wow. And Community had some ups and downs.
Yeah.
Especially towards the end.
Once they got rid of Chevy Chase, it got good.
Yeah. And I didn't realize how much I couldn't stand Chevy Chase until I tried watching Community at first. He irritated me so much.
Yeah, that was interesting. It's interesting to see. To me, it's really interesting to see an actor agree to do a TV series. They say, "Hey," and then they do it. They do it for a season or maybe 2, and then they bitch about it. Then they bitch about it. And, they want to quit, and it's like, well, you agreed to do it in the first place. Why? Well, if you didn't want to be here, why did you say yes?
Yeah.
Well, it was like that girl from, she was in Crazy Young Asians. The mother, the wife, the young wife. She was on an ABC show. It was a big hit, Fresh Off the Boat.
Fresh Off the Boat, yeah.
And she wanted to get off of it. It's like, honey, this is just a one-off movie. I mean, you got sitcom money and syndication because that after 4 years, man, that's when you start making money.
Right.
You get that syndication money. And it's like, what the hell is she thinking? She wants to get off of it.
Yeah, Shelley Long did with Cheers.
Yeah. McLean Stevenson with MASH. We can go Caruso.
And the way they did McLean Stevenson dirty though when he left MASH. Made the most heartbreaking episode ever.
Do you guys know the surroundings around that?
They didn't want to give him a chance to change his mind and come back.
Yeah, and the only 3 people who knew were the writer, the director, and Gary Everybody else, those
Yeah,
are
because Radar he had to deliver that message.
he had to
he had
deliver
to
the
know what was
message.
going on. Yeah.
There was 3 people because I watched. I'll send it to you guys. They talked to Larry Gelbart, who wrote the episode.
Yeah.
And he was at a Christmas party.
Wow.
And McLean was supposed to come, and he no-showed because he thought it would be too, uneasy around the other cast.
Yeah.
So he went back and wrote that night at the Christmas party. And there was 3 people who knew about it.
That's wild.
So when you were watching when you're watching the reactions, those are true reactions.
That's Alan Alda's real reaction to that. Wow.
MASH got built. It got way better when Harry Morgan came on.
I love Harry Morgan as Colonel Potter.
Yeah,
and David Ogden Stiers is hilarious too.
Yeah,
those 2 right there saved that show. And
they were so much better than Larry Linville, and you're right.
Yeah, because you had the you had the Hot Lips, and Frank.
Hot Lip,
connection where that went off.
Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. It was great to see how they developed that show. I mean, this is one thing I will say about some of these shows that we've seen, like NCIS or or whatnot. At least now we get to see the characters that we see every time. Now we get to see them develop, and they become real people. Like they show their home, they show their what's going on, and and a lot of TV shows they're racing just to connect with viewers, and they can't really think about doing anything like that because you're going to try to take a deep arc right away, and it's like you're not going to go into that. They want to. So first of all, they want to make sure that you're not going to pull the rug underneath their feet.
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes a minute to get invested in the characters, but it takes getting invested in the characters for the show to work. Cheers went through that. Their first season, they were near the bottom of the rankings, and it took some executive who said, "Yeah, we'll give them one more year." That young Tartikoff too.
Yeah,
and they really took off and shot to the top right then. Like they gave it that second season, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, we do have something here."
Yeah, that was his wife's favorite show. That's the only reason why it was saved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Tartikoff's responsible for that. Night Court. He had some big shows in that era.
Family Ties. That whole Thursday.
Family Ties. Yeah, that's the original kind of must-see lineup.
Yeah.
I tell you what sort of really sucks. It's a really unwelcome trait, and that is a lot of times you'll see these shows from the 80s or the 90s, and there's nostalgia there. And people want to see them. So I want to catch up with Will and Grace. I want to catch up with
these reboots.
Right, they'll reboot. I want to catch up with Night Court. And then they come out, and they're not going to get to 22 episodes. They're going to come out there. They get between 10 and 12.
Right.
And most of the time, they're getting 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel it.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, we get all that hyped up for them. We're bringing back one of your favorites.
Yeah.
For 20 episodes. Why bother?
Exactly.
People don't have. I mean, I remember coming home. Like I'm an '80s kid, so it was like get the TV guide from Heritage or Wawa on Friday, and me and my brother would take it, and we would just like circle the shows that we were going to watch that week.
Oh yeah.
Everything was like appointment TV from 8 to 10. You couldn't say anything in our house because me, my mom, and my brother were watching TV. Now there's no appointment TV.
It's not, and streaming has gotten rid of the need for that, the desire for it. The only magazine subscription we ever had growing up was the TV Guide. We didn't get other the TV Guide came to our house because you had to have it. Mm-hmm. It told you what was on, when it was on. I knew what Mr. Belvedere special episode was going to be. I mean, you're right. You went in, you found which movies you were going to stay up late and watch. You found, I got to wake up early that day because there's going to be a Godzilla marathon on CBS or whatever. Yeah, the 80s were a good time for TV for kids like us.
Yeah, I mentioned this last night on our show that and I'm in Philadelphia, and Siskel and Ebert was on at 12:30 on Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay. So I told my mom, we've been at church since 7:00 in the morning. I had to be home at 12:30.
Yeah.
You know, to watch, because other than that, and Mom's like, oh, well, you can tape it off of the VCR. Well, back then, if Graham hit the wrong button on the box, the cable
everything.
box, you got like whatever, Home Shopping Network or whatever. You didn't get what that was. And it's like, I said to Mom, we've been here for 5 hours. God will see us next week. Let's go. Like that, and she would get perturbed, but it was like, okay, it's 12, it's 12. Now you wouldn't have to worry about it because you got DVRs and all this stuff. But it was
next day streaming and
exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's why if you see the top shows, I mean, some of these top shows are only getting 4 million.
It's real small ratings.
5 million, and they're network shows. I mean, I think I seen last week, I think the number one show beside was like NCIS, I think, or something like that, and it was like 5.3 million.
Yeah, and what did Mash's finale get? Over 80?
Yeah.
You'll never. And we have more people watching TV, but the options aren't there.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back and you look back to see some of the shows. There was a single season of A Man Called Hawk came out, and I watched it and I was reading the ratings, and it was so weird going like, man, if that show was on today with the numbers that they had, it would it'd be considered a major hit. Oh yeah,
your number one show now is a bubble show 20 years ago.
Yeah, and it's still crazy. And what's really interesting is like 60 Minutes still rocking and rolling.
Still every Sunday
without fail.
Andy Rooney dies, but it keeps going.
That's right.
Andy Rooney. I love that.
Kenny, Mr. Dam says, do you remember Parade Magazine and the Philadelphia Inquirer?
Every Sunday, because we would go to either 7-Eleven or Wawa, get the Sunday paper. My mom would take the coupons. Me and my brother would take the funnies, and the Parade Magazine. Same thing. They'd have like an article like about like excuse me, like Michael J. Fox or something like that, and you'd circle it, and they'd have the TV listings in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, just it's a totally different world that we live in today.
Oh yeah.
And I feel bad for the kids that they don't get to experience it like we did.
And it's so weird though. Like I've bought into it because now my itch to be immediately satisfied, I can go onto Netflix and binge the entire series as quick as I want. I don't have to make that appointment every Thursday at 8:30 to watch my show anymore. I can wait 2 weeks and watch a handful of episodes.
Yeah, well, here's a prime example. I was over at my cousin's house on Sunday for the football game, and I said to my niece, we had brought up Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, and
she goes, "Well, just go on YouTube." And I was like, honey, in 1983, YouTube was not available.
Right.
That came on MTV, and you had to sit and, wait for that to come on.
And Michael Jackson was, again, appointment television. They announced when his new videos would come out.
World
what
premiere.
Time it was going to be on. I remember I don't know why, but I remember when what's the one where it's kind of like the Egyptian motif?
Remember the
time. That one, it was going to be on at 8:00 following the football game right before The Simpsons. Yep. And they announced it all week long, so everyone was there watching it.
Yeah.
Even music videos had premieres that we wanted to be there for.
I remember in the 80s on Friday nights, heating up my little pizza bites, like that. And it was just like, I remember Billy Joel, Uptown Girl premiered at 10:00 on a Friday night.
Yep.
That was huge, and you don't get that now.
Not at all.
If you want to, you can just go onto YouTube and just like punch in. I mean, I remember when I seen Van Halen jump.
Yeah.
Oh, the video, I was like, "What fresh hell is this?
What is going on?"
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, I feel so sorry for this generation because everything's available and they can't wait for it. That's such a shame.
It's gonna happen too, and we're starting to see this. There's so many channels out there that sooner or later they're gonna start to just they're going to start shrinking in on themselves.
Yeah.
They're running out. They're talking about MTV, and there's like MTV doesn't do anything. They don't put it. There's no money being put into it. There's no new programs. There's no new videos, and all they're doing is replaying their old content. And it's like, how long can you run that before you start losing money?
Well, that's why they do reality TV, because it's cheap.
So cheap.
You get stupid 20-year-olds out there that want to be a star, or influencers like we were talking about before, Patrick, and they think they can just, go and be popular. And, they're like The Real World. How popular was The Real World?
It was huge.
Oh, yeah. Real World, Road Rules.
The Challenge.
Yeah. And MTV
now they got bigger and better shows, with more money. You got that happening over on Netflix. Netflix, I think, is doing a game show right now based on obviously not the movie, but I guess they did it right after the South Korean show came out,
Squid Game. Yeah.
Squid Game. Well, now there's a influencer doing his own thing on Netflix, and everybody's watching that. Nobody's watching anything else. And I just think it's gonna, like Sci-Fi Channel, it's been doing nothing for years. I'm shocked every year that it's still on. I don't think they never put anything new or anything in here.
And I really thought that with the Sharknado craze in 2013 or whatever, that Sci-Fi would have really kind of branched off and really leaned into that. Yeah. And they did for 5 sequels, and then they just no other ideas. They just stopped. They had a couple of good shows. I think Haven was on there, and that was pretty good. Eureka, Lost Girl, which was a Canadian show, but they ran it in the U.S. on Sci-Fi, and then it just kind of felt, I don't know. But I think with the streaming, at what point is that bubble going to burst, and we're going to be back to only 2 or 3? When is it going to get to the point
I think it's starting to go now, especially with the Hulu, Disney
with the
Plus.
Bundles.
Yeah, the bundles. Because everything's just gonna, merge into it. Everybody.
Yeah. This is gonna be cable 2.0.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Well, and the whole reason of streaming was that cord cutting and getting away from the cable box just to find a new cable box.
Right. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm just checking. I'm just keeping you guys are kicking butt here tonight. I'm keeping rolling on the chat. They're throwing in some. They're throwing in their favorite snacks. We got Justin saying popcorn with white cheddar seasoning. It's gotta have popcorn. Let's see.
My favorite movie snack is the snow caps. Like chocolate morsels with the white non-perils on. Yeah, that's my go. If I can ever find them, they're hard to find, but that's my
Dollar Tree.
Right.
Dollar Tree's the only place that I remember seeing them anymore.
Well, so again, working at Blockbuster, we always had them. So I bought them every Friday. I'd buy a couple boxes to have at home.
Man, that candy was expensive though at a Blockbuster. You walk in there, it's like,
as an employee, your employee discount made it okay. You didn't hate it. You didn't hate it.
You're right though. But you're right. I mean, you can always tell when people are going to the movies, especially during the summer. The kids will come in there and they'll grab 8 or 9 of those $1.25 boxes. You go, you go up there and say, "Well, what?" And the clerks will come up there and say, "So, what movie are you seeing?"
Right? Yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
It's like, we're gonna go see this movie. I'm like, man, you just saved yourself a lot of money by doing Dollar Tree.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Do you guys go to the physical movies yourselves? Do you guys go to the theater? How many people in the chat? How many people in the chat actually hit the theater? At least once or twice a month.
Oh, I used to so our local theater here, the Regal Theaters, for $22 a month, you get unlimited movies. And every once in a while I'll do that. So in my day job, I'm a teacher, so I don't work all summer long. So when summer comes around, I watch as many movies as I can, and I write for my podcast. So I do almost all of my writing over that. I work a full-time job writing and watching movies. So I'll go and see the movies a ton. The rest of the year, it's maybe once a month, once every other month, I'm getting to the theater. It's just too much money anymore. I got a wife. I got 3 grown daughters. I got a grandson on the way. Like, I got too much going on.
Yeah,
I didn't know this so recently. I actually did not. I haven't been to the theater in years. I did not know this until very recently. I'm thinking, okay, because when at nighttime over at the theater back in the day used to be like it'd be like $5 in the matinee, and then it'd be $8 in the end.
Right. Oh yeah.
Now it's well, some places still have the $5 matinee. They still do that.
Our theater every Tuesday is $5 day, but the rest of the week.
At night, it's $15.
I went and saw the last time I went to the theater. I just went and saw. Geez, I can't even remember. New horror movie, Companion. I went and saw Companion in the theater, and it was a matinee show. I went to the first showing of the day, and it was $13.
Oh.
I went by myself. I left the wife and kids at home do their own thing. I just needed to get out of the house. And like if I had gone with anybody, I couldn't have. You can't afford that for a whole bunch of people. Like if you're gonna do the family thing. So yeah, it becomes more of that's a treat I give myself on a rare occasion.
What's funny? What's really funny too is like, a lot of times we'll see a movie come out like The Brutalist. It'll come out it'll be 3.5 hours long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'll hear, and you used to hear people like, what, 3.5 hours long? Yeah. But it's sort of weird. It's like now the movies are coming out. Like I look at runtimes.
Oh yeah,
runtimes now for regular movies, it's not like it used to be like a firm 90-95 minutes.
Right.
Know?
Oh yeah.
Now it's going down toward the 85-minute mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to go out there and spend $13-15 to watch an 85-minute movie.
When I was younger, that was always how. If there were several movies I wanted to watch, I went to the one that was the longest, so I got the most bang for my buck.
Right.
I always picked the longest movie to go to the theater, even when I was young, and it was $5 and $8. But
yeah, I'm just really surprised to see that, because it's like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How can you, especially when it's from a major studio. I understand that with independent filmmakers, but someone like a Universal or Paramount, they'll throw out comedy out there, and next thing you know, it's like, you hear people sit there and say, gosh, that wasn't very long, was it? And you look and you feel like you've been there for 82, 83 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're running the credits.
Right. And a third of the time you were at the theater was watching trailers for upcoming movies and advertisements beforehand.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went because when I went to see, I think that Companion is right at that 95-minute mark or 96 minutes when I looked at it, and I think it was supposed to start at the start time was 12:40. And that's when the trailers started. I didn't start watching the movie until like 1:20. I spent almost 30 to 40 minutes watching advertisements and trailers before the movie. So I still ended up being there over 2 hours to watch a 96-minute movie. Yeah, that has gotten out of hand. We're more worried about bulking advertisements than we are about showing movies. But
and it used to be they didn't show that many advertisements. They show maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah,
and then you're off and running.
Yep.
Who are some of your favorite performers, Josh? I mean, who do you like, actor and actresses?
So, oh man, current or all time?
You can go both. We got time. Talk a little bit about it.
So you made a comment about it being a Jim Carrey movie in the making. I actually love Jim Carrey when he gets on his more serious side. Man on the Moon, Truman Show. I thought that he did not get a fair shake from the Academy. I really think he has some great acting chops. But honestly, like as far as get me to go see a movie without knowing anything about it, it's Tom Hanks. I'll watch him read the phone book or talk to me about typewriters, because I guess he collects typewriters. But I love Tom Hanks. He's kind of my go-to for that. I've been really into Ana de Armas. I really enjoy watching her on screen. But then going back, like I love the movie M. Peter Lorre is kind of like there's something about him that any classic movie comes on, like on AMC or something, or Turner Classics, I'm watching a Peter Lorre movie all the time. Maltese Falcon, Casablanca, Fritz Lang's M. Just I have a lot of people that I like. William Holden. I always say Sunset Boulevard is probably my favorite beginning to end, my favorite movie to watch. So I love Gloria Swanson and William Holden. James Garner. I love James Garner in his like that the support your local sheriff Maverick kind of mold. I really love that James Garner. Yeah, Marlowe. Yeah, that's a good one. It's hard. And again, it just comes down to what I'm in the mood for. What am I in the mood for?
So you like the old classics, like the black and white films.
Yeah. I love history. I love the history of Hollywood. What got us to where we are today? Why are we the way we are with our movie watching? I did because of the new Nosferatu, which I am going to wait until it's streaming a little bit more. But I did go and rewatch the original Nosferatu, the 1922, and then I watched the 1979 version that Werner Herzog did. So I try to, I'll do the whole thing, and then eventually I'll probably do a podcast series on the three. But yeah, I love just the history of the ties, the things that link everything together.
Let's see. People are mentioning Jeff's in the house. I knew that was coming. Ben-Hur. And I actually, I think the last time I talked, I thought it was I thought it was a Ten Commandments, but it wasn't. Ben-Hur is Jeff's favorite all-time movie. Mine probably still. I still gotta stay with a oldie but goodie. But I still, because I remember how much of an impression it made on me.
Yeah,
and that would be the first Superman.
Oh, see, and that's it. And man, that's another movie that the movie is great. And I wish we could have seen Richard Donner's vision for Superman 2.
Yeah.
I want to see because he was filming them simultaneously. He was building them together. I want to see what he wanted to do with that second one.
I don't think it would have ended the way it ended. And you could definitely tell the difference from the first one to the second one. You know, like the first one, it had just enough there to, you know, like there was a couple of funny moments, some humorous moments, and that's great. But on the second one, it tried too hard a little bit.
Right.
And what I really didn't like about the second one, even though I liked the idea of introducing Zod, but it looked like it was made on a set, and it looked like it was made.
Yeah. With that movie though, Christopher Reeve is just, there's something so likable about him as Clark Kent. There's that he was able to show that innocence, and then kind of the strong, suave Superman. Like he was able to really embody both sides of that. I really like Christopher Reeve in that character.
But you know, everybody but the guy who plays Superboy, because we don't talk about Superboy here.
What about you talk about Supergirl?
No. You know what? I can handle Supergirl, but that Superboy series. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's funny.
But everybody that plays Superman, and yes, I'm including Dean Cain in this. They did a really, really nice job. I mean, to me, there's no really heads and shoulders above everybody else. They're all very, very good.
I want to dislike Brandon Routh, but I find myself enjoying him anyways. I want to dislike him, but I can't.
You know what? I guess if I had to really think about it, I would actually sit there and say I love Christopher Reeve. I really, really do. I think, you know, he set the table. But I really liked how human they made Brandon Routh Superman.
Yeah.
He made a lot of mistakes. You know, if you think about it, you look at it, you go like, man, but he was gone for 5 or 7 years or 10 years. We don't.
Right. Yeah.
So he just wasn't going to come right back and pick up where everything left off. And I love the idea they showed that.
Yeah. Though I do think Margot Kidder is my favorite. She's my favorite Lois. Glenn Ford as the dad. Like, there's something there's something about that original Richard Donner movie. Mario Puzo's script, the whole thing. That's just a fun movie to watch.
Okay, so Hobbs is mentioning here. This is a good question. I guess if you had to keep one and then nuke the other one, which one would you do? Would you save Superboy and nuke Superman 4, or nuke Superman 4 and save Superboy? And God help me, but I would actually have to sit there and say I would have to save Superboy.
Right, yeah, no. Once Canon got a hold of Superman, it's just garbage.
Yeah,
It's a bad TV show, is what that is.
It's the worst.
It's just bad.
It truly is probably the worst of the major studios. It really is the worst movie they ever made.
Yeah,
and I'm including Jonah Hex in that, because Jonah Hex was I didn't hate it.
Was Jonah Hex? That was the one with
Josh Brolin.
Brolin. Yeah, it wasn't terrible. I mean,
No.
I'm not writing home about it. I'm not rewatching it every year, but it was fine.
Yeah, and that's another movie that really, we're talking about time frame. That movie came out, and I remember buying my copy of it. I was reading the back of it. I got mine at the video store.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it and it says 73 minutes. I'm like, 73 minutes?
Yeah, it's a quick watch.
I'm just thinking to myself, that's the reason why nobody went to it. I think that's probably one of the reasons. Is like, yeah, you go there, but you're only going to be there for 70 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to ask for just to watch, especially
Right.
especially asking an audience that doesn't know who the character is.
Right.
And
it came out right at that very early, that front end of the comic book boom. So had they maybe fleshed out that story just a little bit more, because at the time Megan Fox was still a hot commodity. If it was maybe 20 minutes longer, they might have been able to really do something.
Okay, Kenny, you're gonna have to save me here, because now we got asked if you had to choose one, what would it be? Pie Wacket or Superman 4? That's rough. That is
I think
rough.
Superman 4.
Yeah, still Superman 4, because Pie Wacket, at least they had a great acting. They didn't have you didn't see Pie Wacket, but at least you got great acting. Oh,
I was a labor to get through.
That's not my worst IFC Midnight movie though. The worst one I ever saw was hashtag whore. Oh God. I definitely would take Superman 4 over that. Oh, that's a god awful movie. Let's see, Kenny, who played Vinny the Eagle player better? Mark Wahlberg or
Marky Mark? Yeah, Vince Papale. I actually met him at a bar that I used to be a chef, and he came in from a Van Morrison concert at 2:00 in the morning with his wife, and we were like shutting down. It was like a Wednesday night, There was like I think we had like 4 people at the bar, and I was just in the back, and I was like prepping for like the next day and stuff like that. And our bartender came back. He goes, "Yo, Vince Papale's at the bar." I was like, it's 2:15 in the morning, And he's like, "No, I'm serious." So I went out there and I seen him, and he's like, "Hey," like that. And he's like, "Hey, can you make me and my wife something?" I'm like, "Dude, anything you want, man." And this was like 89, so it was like I wasn't like all fanboy where I needed like an autograph or anything. I just went up to him, shook his hand, I said, "Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you for doing everything for my Eagles," like that. And he goes, "Hey, well, I tried, So made them cheesesteaks and fries and a pizza. So they were there till like we closed it down at 4:00. We just sat and he told stories at the bar.
That's awesome.
So it was like that was a nice memory. But yeah, so and I'm not a big fan of Marky Mark in the movies, but he did do it. He did do it a good job in Invincible.
He's got a couple of roles that are all right, but
yeah. I liked him in a lot in the Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm. That's a movie that I wouldn't think about very much if I didn't own the book.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think about the book is really good. It's one of those that early George Clooney, good Mark Wahlberg, like Yeah, I also like Mark Wahlberg a lot in The Fighter.
Yeah, John Hawkes was sitting over there.
Oh, John Hawkes.
Deadwood was there. Diane Lane. Yeah, I mean, Michael Ironside.
I love Michael. Yeah, it's.
Michael Ironside was in it. Do you want some credit? Yes, I do. He wants some absolution. He knew he had pushed him out there. He pushed Billy out there when he shouldn't have, but he knew he had done it and hurt his pride. So now he's sitting over there going like, man, I didn't mean for that to happen, but it's like, what are you looking for? Absolution. Yeah. He was going to carry that shit with him the rest of his life.
Yep. Oh yeah.
See.
And Wolfgang Peterson, he made some great ones. Das Boot, Never Ending Story.
Yeah.
Like he's got some good stuff too.
Oh, we don't talk about the Poseidon remake.
Well, no.
Not really.
No.
Phil Leal said, my favorite foodie movie is Chef. Mine too.
Yes.
Man, mine too. That is my favorite. That is one of my favorite movies ever.
That's the most, I believe, accurate, because there's like a couple of my friends that I went to culinary school with. We were talking about the Bear show with Lip from Shameless.
Shameless, yeah.
In it, and we were talking about that. Let me tell you, watch Chef for a more accurate depiction of culinary than the Bear, because everything that you see in Chef is basically the shit that happens in there. Yeah, because I think the Bear is like full of shit. Basically, like that girl. I watched about 5 episodes of it, and I gave up. I do like Lip from Shameless.
Yeah,
but it was just like, I know it's a TV show, and I could hear my mom yelling at me, "Honey, it's a TV show." But no, it's just like, I mean,
did she say that to you when you were watching Superman 4?
It's just a movie.
No, she just threw it on to keep my brother and me quiet, probably. But it was just like, there was a show that I used to be a real huge Anthony Bourdain fan.
Oh yeah, like No Limits and
No Reservations.
No Reservations. Excuse me.
And
miss that guy.
He did a show that was only on for a couple, like 8 episodes, called Layover, and he did one in Philadelphia. And one of the chefs there was one of the guys that I went to culinary school with, and we were talking about it and how laid back. And he goes, basically, Bourdain was so cool with everybody in the kitchen, and he just like laid it out. And he was like talking, and he was like, he goes, Phil was just telling me, he goes, he was prepping with one hand, talking like on the phone, and he's like prepping, and it's like, and everything was like so precisely cut and everything. Yeah. It was just like, it was like crazy. And it was just like, when you watched, there was a movie, TV show with Bradley Cooper called Kitchen Confidential that was on Fox. Yeah. It was based on Bourdain's book. And Bourdain went down there to make sure Bradley Cooper wasn't full of shit.
Did it right. Yeah.
They made a movie out of that. They made a movie out of it called Burnt.
Yeah, with Zeta Jones.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, so it was like, so those are the kind of like shows, because I get frustrated when I hear about the Bear being, it might be a great TV show, but it's not a good characteristic of culinary arts.
Right. Well, and the Bear only has the one guy, Matty Matson, who's an actual chef on the show.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he's the only person there that's like legitimately from that world. And he plays an idiot, like the brother.
Is he the uncle?
Kind of, huh? He's the real heavy set guy with the tattoos up the neck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
He's a legit chef, but he plays kind of like the screwball dummy guy. But he's like he's the let's keep it real, have a chef on set kind of guy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I will never return to watching that, but
my wife and my youngest daughter love it. They can't wait. But I think my youngest daughter, has a crush on Jeremy Allen White. I think that's all that is.
Oh, okay. Did she see Iron Claw?
Yeah, we that one A24 we kind of do as a family.
Oh, okay. That was pretty.
Yeah.
That was pretty darn
That
good.
was good. That was a good one, especially for me growing up like you, an '80s kid. I watched them wrestle. They'd be on the TV for me as a kid. I was a big wrestling fan back then.
I still am a huge wrestling fan.
I'm trying to think of which one lost his foot, and he came back.
Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah,
okay, and he came back,
and he's the one I was most familiar with.
Oh yeah, it's a Texas Tornado.
Texas Tornado, and he's wrestling on one foot. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it.
I never knew
his whole
the...
WWE career was on one foot.
Yeah.
I mean, he would apparently he would go in the shower with his
wrestling boots on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, we're talking about Bourdain lived above Magnario's Barrel Shop in Hell's Kitchen, and I should have bumped into him. Kitchen Confidential was Tony's first book, and brilliant. Sherry mentioned. Kenny, have you seen Big Night? That's a
great movie.
Yeah,
probably like
Shaloop
the first,
and Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
Was that the first true movie you think that about food? I mean, truly about food. Was that the first one? Because I can't think of another one beforehand.
Yeah,
I mean, as far as like that, I mean, you showed, there's movies that show gluttony and whatnot, but I'm talking about just food in general, being made.
Yeah, that was a love of the Italian, cuisine. That was Tucci and Shaloop's like love, because their fathers and grandfathers came from the kitchens,
right?
So that was basically like a love story for their relatives, and they did a great job with it too.
And Tucci just had was it Tucci? Yeah, had his memoir come out. That's half cookbook, half memoir. It's his life through food. Yeah, that's his whole thing. He's all about
I used to watch his CNN show where Tucci goes to Italy and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was because I was a huge Food Network 90s when they actually taught you how to cook.
I missed that. Yeah.
I missed that too, because I was a huge Molto Mario, where he would have stories. Yeah. All the stuff that's uncovered now makes me ashamed to have liked him, but I actually enjoyed them. My brother, I taught my brother how to cook too, but he used to watch How to Boil Water. And basically the stuff that I was telling him was kind of going over his head a little bit. Sure. So it was like they would simplify it, and I kind of like that. It's like now it's just like all competition. Who makes the biggest damn cupcake?
Right. Though Mario Batali is the reason that I got lucky enough to go to Madrid this last year, around about a year ago, March. And he's the reason that I had to try paella, like real paella, because I watched Mario Batali talking about the slow process, and he really drew a picture that too bad he turned out to be what he is, but
that's heartbreaking, because you knew Flay was a scumbag, but I did not think that
the Batali
Mario was.
What happened to Mario? I must have missed this.
Oh, you got to watch a documentary, my friend, on that.
A lot of essay kind of stuff, harassment talk, and he wasn't a good guy to women and people in the kitchens. Yeah.
I knew Bobby Flay. He was definitely a ladies' man. He was always
apparently he was like he would go, and because I remember they always had his scooter, and he would go, and he had 5 different restaurants in I think about a 2-mile radius, in New York, and he would go. Yeah. And there was one place that they would go to. It was the corn, something pig, stuffed pig, or something like that. Cooked pig, I forget what it was, but it was basically a dive bar where all the cooks used to go.
Oh, okay.
And that was a big spot for even famous people. They actually had pictures of Amy Poehler coming out of there.
Oh,
Diddy.
Wow. Yeah. Another problematic human.
Yeah, so it was and basically he was fondling the waitresses and forcing them to do bad stuff, like After Hours and stuff,
Um,
like like Bill Cosby style.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Ooh. Phil mentions Mario's first restaurant,
Spotted
P.O.
Pig, Phil. That's it. Thank you, Phil. Spotted Pig. That's it.
Bobby Flay, first grill was grilling and chilling.
Yeah, with Jack.
I had a friend of mine actually. He got to cook with Bobby Flay. He actually did a throwdown, and he actually beat Bobby.
Yeah, one of my friends was on the show, and she beat him, but they changed it where in post that he beat her. So they basically, yeah. So all that shit's edited too because they had like her like celebrating and stuff, and yeah. So and when they showed the premiere, she called me up and she goes, "I beat him," and I'm like, "Honey, you better check." Tammy, you better check. And she was like, I can't believe they used like stock footage of her like walking out and stuff. And,
Wow.
it was just like, yeah. So a lot of that, they use creative licensing with that.
Wow.
No, the only cookie show like that was absolutely 100% real was the Iron Chef.
Yes, I love the Japanese
original. Yeah, the original. And which is the reason I never liked Bobby Flay, because he was on the Japanese version. And he jumped up on the
counters. Yes, you don't do that.
Totally insulted everybody.
Morimoto.
Yeah, who would do that? I mean, I don't care if you're Japanese, Chinese, or American. Who the hell? I'm not going to like you jumping on the table like that.
Yeah, no, that irritated me.
Yeah, because I used to the pretty blonde-headed girl used to be on there. That was Mario's protege, Anne.
Anne
Burrell.
Yeah.
And I used to like when she was on there, but man, yeah, whenever Bobby was on, and there was this other guy that used to be on there. He was they called him a restaurateur, and he had like his couple years of fame on there. And I used to call him Mr. Rourke from because he always used to have the pop collars, real Italian looking pop collars, and he goes hello. And talk like that, I forget what his name was, but he was, I think he was involved in that Ponzi scheme in New York, and he's no longer around.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's not reality shows. When you watch shows like that, I like it when you do grab something from it, when you do learn from something from it, and you can do that. You can do that for watching the Iron Chef. I don't like all the cooking shows and all that like they have now, Hell's Kitchen or whatever. It's like, it's so cheesy to me. It's like,
and I could do without Guy Fieri.
Oh God, yeah. I can't take him.
Oh yeah, I like his diners.
I like that. I will look up diners, drive-ins, and dives if I'm going to a new town or a new city to see if there's something that I want to eat when I'm there. But I don't want to watch a full episode of him talking about Flavor Town. I don't care.
I want to go downtown to Flavor Town. Well, hey,
the two guys that I used to like on Food Network besides Mario was I loved Robert Irvine and I loved Tyler Florence. But they kind of veered away from Tyler Florence because he was getting too fat for the network.
I'm glad they gave Robert Irvine a second chance too, because I always felt like with Robert Irvine, he it started out as a story that he told 3 or 4 people, and then it got told over and over, and I don't think there was any hostile intent, he just got away from him, and but before you know it, here he is famous. And it's like now he's got it's like people keep asking for it. Like, so Robert, tell us about the time when he made Princess Diana's wedding cake. And it's like, unless they brought it up to him, if they brought it up to him, because it wasn't like he could sit there and say, yeah, I don't want to talk about that because that's one of his famous stories. And then I think what happened was he just got caught. He didn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah,
right.
I don't. It was one of those things where fame sometimes gets a hold of you, and it's like Martha Stewart. Do you really think Martha Stewart is a bad person? No, she just
she got caught up.
Got caught doing a white collar crime. It was like wasn't gonna hurt me. Wasn't gonna hurt anybody else I know. It was just
Right.
something, and it's like I still liked her. I still think she was very cool, and
Mhm.
I still like her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't, I didn't mind, but people, people go out. Like, I thought it was more of a concern when I found out that Kat Cora, she got busted twice for drunk driving, and it was
Oh.
like, oh yeah, you need to do something about that.
Yeah. I never understand why you hear about somebody who's well off. I won't call her rich, but she's doing fine for herself. You can afford a cab, an Uber, a limo.
Yeah.
Why are you driving drunk? I can't afford any of those things, and I'll still get an Uber. I just don't understand why why you risk everything like that.
I guess fame is such a different animal now.
Yeah,
Fame is, fame is
for
just.
sure.
I mean, you see people out there, they're, to me, I'm just sitting there going, now, like, people are saying, well, one of the reasons why people don't like going out to places is because, like, they got people here on, they want to be influencers or they want to be a star on YouTube. And, like, what they'll do is they'll get their friends and they'll prank people, which is fun because it's not a prank. It's like, if someone's shopping and then you throw a basket over their head, how is that funny to the other person?
Right.
And then I like I like the ones that get caught. They get caught and then someone's gonna get them the beat down. They're going like, it's a prank, but the guy's not listening because he's too busy pranking your face.
Yeah. No, it's not a prank. It's assault.
Yeah. Exactly. One guy almost died from it. They had it out. This one guy, he told him, says, leave him alone, leave him alone. He was trying to back away, and the guy kept coming at him, and the guy was twice the size. And he shot him. And I'm going like, well, that looks like self-defense to me.
Wow. Your prank went bad.
But as far as I just think that how much responsibility how much responsibility belongs, like, because back in the 70s, they're talking about violence in the 70s. It's like, how much responsibility does Hollywood have for encouraging things like this?
Yeah.
I mean, are they responsible for this? I mean, do they have any responsibility in what we watch and how we watch it?
I think they have a responsibility to not cancel culture so much, but to understand influence and grow and change as the world does. But like, so HBO, when Max first came out and they had Gone with the Wind on there, they pulled it for a couple of days and they put a disclaimer at the front just to let you know there are going to be some problematic things in here. Open up a dialogue and have a conversation. As we learn and we grow, I think that's the more important thing, is to not get rid of it, not to cancel it out, but to say, hey, we've thought this way at one time, but it was wrong then. We just didn't realize it. And now let's have that dialogue. So as far as the onus isn't on Hollywood unless they don't change. If they keep doing it, then I think that's where their problem lies.
They're trying to make up the mind for you.
Yeah.
Instead of you forming your own opinion on it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Strange predicaments. They should always wait, but sometimes it's worse. They can get in trouble while waiting as well. They don't want. They don't like having wasted their time or want to wait in public while affected. Are you talking about like people doing pranks and stuff like that? Because I know that a lot of people, that's, it's frustrating. You go to the store and you go out in public, you go someplace, and it's like the last thing you want to do is be pranked by somebody you don't really know. Right. I don't know you. You don't know me well enough to feel comfortable enough to come up there and do that.
Right.
Some pranks can be hateful too.
Sure.
They're just trying to get the person in that, and they might have a problem with that person, that nobody else does,
Yeah.
And, things can go sideways, and
sure.
It's just like,
let's see. I'm trying to, no, I don't think I know those. I don't think I know any of those names.
Yeah, David
Google.
Rosengarten used to have a show with a woman on Sundays, and they used to talk about wines and
Oh,
different
okay.
kinds of stuff. And yeah, that used to they used to have such a really. I mean, I remember me and my mom would just sit and watch from like if there was no like not during football season, but like if because the Phillies were bad through the 90s. So it was just like you'd put that on, you'd have Mario, but they were just like cooking shows. Like Sarah Moulton used to cook every Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock, and her husband used to be at home, you know, to like cook for their daughter, so she used to like help him cook. And then she would like take like live calls on the air. Sarah, I'm having problems with my salmon. Can you help me cook a salmon for my family? And it was just like stuff like that. And you don't get that anymore. And that's a damn shame. You got like that. That's another guy I have a problem with. That King of Cakes guy.
Oh, Duff.
No, not Duff. The other jackass.
Oh, from Carlos
Buddy?
Bakery, the one in
Buddy
Jersey.
Yeah.
Buddy Velasco, I think his name is.
Yeah, Buddy Velasco.
Buddy, yeah. And he was another one that did like 3 DUIs, and the last time he was like, "Hey, don't you know who I am? I'm a star on Food Network." And the cop, good for him, said, "The only star on Food Network was Emerald Lagasse. You're going to jail."
And then he should have followed it up with Bam.
Yeah, that would have been great. But yeah, Cake Boss, that's it. Yeah, Cake Boss. Boss, Duff's a pretty nice guy. The guy from Baltimore. He's pretty cool.
I like this show.
Yeah, because you can actually see the love. But that Cake Boss, I still think he's related with the mafia somehow.
See, that's why I don't like some of the shows like the Mario shows, because Robert Irvine did that first, and he did it the best. The Dinner Impossible, the Restaurant Impossible.
Yeah.
He did it the best. We always used to watch his shows, and we sit there and hope for the best. Like they would come back there. We only knew one show, one restaurant. We after the show was over, my wife and I were looking at each other going like, that they ain't making it. They're just not going to make it. They're too. But what was really cool is that he brought the people to come over to help save the restaurant, and they were people from one of my very favorite shows from the last 25 years was Extreme Home Makeover.
Mm-hmm.
Love that show. That show was awesome to watch. Sundays at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So he brought 2 designers over there with him. Robert did to work on the restaurant, and it's amazing what $1,000 or a couple of $1,000 how much it could change the outlook of the restaurant. Of course, there's nothing that can be done for what we used to call it the can opener menu. That's the only cooking they ever did was from a can opener. That made me laugh so hard when the first time I heard that, because we used to go to a little restaurant like that. There'd be like a thick old menu of like 20 pages, and you're like, what to eat. Well, it doesn't really matter because they got a can opener, so they can do anything they want.
Yeah, anything you want. Yeah, the bigger the menu, the worse the restaurant.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Right.
You're exactly right about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's exactly right.
We used to have We used to have 3 pages, a front, back, and then we used to have a special.
Yeah,
and it was just like, and even then, the food costs were so high because people were just going for the specials, you know. And we had went through turnovers with like new chefs, because every chef brings a new idea. And then they have to filter through the kitchen manager, and then the kitchen manager is basically like the general manager who goes and talks to the owners about it, you know. And it was like, I remember one time we had got it down to two sides, just like you open it and that was what it was, you know. And then that chef only lasted like maybe about 3 months, and then we had a new chef came in and we went back to the book, you know. And it was just like. People don't realize all the food that's in there, you're buying. You're buying for that,
Right.
and it's just like, if it doesn't sell, that's a loss,
Mm-hmm.
and then your prices go up.
Right.
That's why I like to say that sometimes they'll have that, especially for fish, they'll say market price. Like whatever we got it for is what we're charging you.
Right.
But if you notice, when they do fish and stuff like, especially like the fish, they're all on the specials.
Mm-hmm. Because it's only until we run out.
Yeah, so it's like, they can 86 that quick, if you're, because usually, like, we opened a dinner at 5. Our dinner was 5 to 10, and then at 10 o'clock, the late night, that's when I was on, basically, because I was there through the day prepping, but I was from 10 to 3, 3 a.m. So it was like, but that was just like burgers, like Cobb salads, Caesar salads, basically like bar food you're getting at that time. But from 5 to 10, you're doing about 300, 400 covers, during the week, and then you're doing about 5 to 6 on Saturdays and Sundays. So.
Okay, I've got a question here. Kenny, do you make a good fridge onion soup?
Well, I'm not going to lie and say no. Yeah, of course I do, because you got the crock, and I caramelize my onions so they're like nice and translucent when they go in, and you put the big hammer of garlic bread on top of it with the provolone cheese on top of it, and melt it into the salamander. Yeah.
Let's see. Phil mentioned Bourdain was the first one to let out of the bag. Don't order any seafood specials on Mondays, because all New York
left over from the weekend.
Big city restaurants get their seafood delivered on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, because it's true, because we used to get our Friday delivery for meat and fish at 3 o'clock. It was like 3 o'clock, and basically we had the balls out prep from 3 to 5 to make sure everything, and we had to make sure that everything that was coming from there, like the whitefish and stuff like that, and the monkfish and all that stuff, was literally going to be on there, so we could run specials on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's absolutely right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the further from the water you are, the less you want to wait on that food. You want to have
I was in South Jersey, so we had.
You're closer. I'm in Idaho. We're too far away.
Wow.
You don't go to a lot of fresh seafood places.
But you get salmon and trout, though, right?
Salmon and trout, you're good. But anything else, if you go somewhere and they say that they've got a halibut, was it frozen?
9 times out of 10, it's frozen.
Yeah. You don't call it fresh.
Yeah. Let's see. Now Brene, we got her earlier. She mentioned she was craving a Slurpee, and then now she's claiming now she's craving a cake. I'm with you on both. We were supposed to get nailed with a snowstorm today, but it didn't happen. Let's see. What about what is the best IFC movie ever made? Wow, for me, that's easy. That's an easy one. But Kenny, you want to take this one? What's your favorite IFC movie?
Probably Cold Day in July.
Man, that's a good one.
That's such a great movie. I remember when I seen it. It has the guy from Dexter, Josh. If you've never seen it,
I haven't seen it.
That's a great movie, and I was totally blown away. And I actually bought that on Hamilton Book right after watching it, because I wanted a physical copy of it.
Yeah,
such a good movie.
There's another one out there too called Java Heat. That's also a great action movie as well.
Yeah.
Catcher was a spy. That was good. It was a little bit more laid back than I expected it to be, but it was a pretty damn good movie. Of course, and they did the Maniac remake, which was excellent.
Yeah,
really
I like Elijah Wood. That was a good one, because I love the old the 1980 Maniac, and I really think Elijah Wood did a great job with the new.
one of our nights,
Joe Spinell, yeah.
We lost him after that. We showed that movie, and one of the guys who was sitting in with us, everybody has their limits. I always say this. I don't say this to ever make fun of anybody, because I understand this, and but we all have our limits of what we'll watch. Like
sure,
I like a lot of people, they will not watch Human Centipede. I was like that for a long time. I was like, I don't want to see somebody's mouth on somebody's
right.
But then once I watched it, I'm going like, okay, damn this movie, because it's just ruined Silence of the Lambs for me. Because now I'm thinking about, that's the most crazy ass doctor I'll ever see. There's no one gonna beat that guy. But I understand people they don't want to watch it. They can't handle that.
Sure.
And like for me, I have my limitations as well.
Oh yeah.
I liked the Human Centipede, but the IFC movie, my favorite one that I watched is A Dark Song. That is the one movie that I absolutely love. That movie. That's been my favorite movie that I've ever watched and reviewed.
I was looking up another one that I really liked. It was a 2006 movie. It's on IFC. If you have AMC, it's called Alone with Her with Colin Hanks. He plays a like really sick stalker that is like goes on Facebook and like follows this girl. The girl's name is Anna Claudia Talcanon. But it's creepy as hell. It's like real. He does such a really good job too.
They did some great movies like that. They had like one called "See for Me," about a girl who's blind. And,
was that an IFC movie?
Yeah, that's an IFC movie.
Yeah, that girl was really blind too.
Yeah, she was really blind. And they were directing her around the house against I think they had 3 intruders. Yeah. And then
that was creepy. Yeah.
There's one I have not been able to. I'm hoping to find. I thought that I would get it by now, but there's one I want called The Watchers. That with Micah Monroe was in it, and it looks absolutely creepy as hell. But I have not been able to get that. I'm still hoping to find it. And of course, I'm looking for a hard copy of Late Night with the Devil. I thought Late Night with the Devil was a lot of fun as well. I thought that was made a lot. And the one movie I surprised a lot of people, but it definitely was polarizing as far as you either liked it or you didn't. And that was
Was what?
Skinamarink.
No, I didn't see it.
It's a great movie. It's not one you'll be in a hurry to watch again, unless if you're a horror fan, you will watch it again. But if you're there just for the curiosity, I doubt you will. But if you're a horror fan, you're all in. Let's see.
I just pulled up their movies. There's a few IFC films that I really want to see. I've been wanting to watch stop motion.
Right.
That's an acquired taste, Josh.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, I watched it because I got the AMC Plus where you can get the IFC movies. Right. That's a very acquired taste. The girl is very good. The girl is really good in it, but it's very slow and it's very acquired tastes.
Is it a little body horror-ish?
Yes.
Yeah. And I've seen Hunger with Christian Steve McQueen movie. Steve McQueen, the director, not the actor.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
It's Michael Fassbender.
Oh, okay.
I remember seeing that one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go now. I got to go down after we're done here. I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole of the IFC films. I just went and got their website up. They've got 52 pages of movies for me to look at.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you, Kenny. I'll let Kenny take you. Let Kenny take you around the first round, and then I'll come behind and show you what's really going down. Well, I heard you mention earlier too. I guess you like boutique labels too, and you mentioned A24.
Yeah.
So you like a lot of the A24 films, I take it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Early A24. I'm more of a fan of the early A24 films. I'm
like
a big
back to the days of well, I guess Moonlight was their first big jump into the the focus of the world. But yeah, I liked. Oh, what was it? Now my brain's going.
I didn't like Ghost Story, Josh.
Oh, you don't love the floating sheet?
Oh, the A24.
I liked it.
The A24 film, A Ghost Story.
Yeah.
Hated
Okay.
Hated that.
I watched it. People were talking about like how great it was and stuff, and there's something about Affleck too that just bothers me.
I can get that. I get that. Casey Affleck is not. He's not for everyone.
Yeah,
I get that.
I was one of the very, very few times I ever took a movie back, and I took that. I said, "This is some horse shit." But it was really weird.
Happy, huh?
What's really weird is like when I first started YouTube, I had a blog and I was reviewing things on my blog.
Yeah.
And the first movie I ever reviewed was from an IFC movie, was a movie called The Dead Room. And I reviewed that. I really liked it. And then the next movie, this is before I knew anything about anything. I didn't know anything about, what the histories of the companies. I just know that I was getting these movies for next to nothing.
Yeah.
And so I watched and reviewed The Dead Room, which I thought was really, really good. And then for my 33rd one, I did a movie called Remember with Chris Plummer. And that was my first A24 film.
Oh,
that's a terrific movie.
I really liked that A24. I liked Under the Silver Lake. It was just this weird, different. If you like Andrew Garfield, it's just weird. I liked the whole X, Pearl, Maxine trilogy. I really like Ty West a lot though.
I like the two movies he did for Dark Sky. He did A House of the Devil, and then he did
Innkeepers.
And the Innkeepers. Man,
yeah, those are great.
It's funny. You hear people talk about this. They sit there and say this movie's really really underrated. But I see a lot of people talk about the Innkeepers.
Yeah, I think it was for a minute underrated, and then people finally caught up to it thanks to streaming because it was everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. The Florida Project was probably the first A24 movie I remember watching with Willem Dafoe. It takes place in like the Florida projects.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I've heard about it. It was good.
That one's good.
It's always good to see Dafoe always get it, because he doesn't get very many of them, but it's really cool to see him get a good guy role once in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he did Platoon, and then next thing you know, that's that was it. And then he did Spider-Man, and that's really it. And next thing you know, he's always playing the heavy, and it's like he's really interesting as a good guy.
After Platoon, what did he like? Right after Platoon was like Last Temptation of Christ, I think.
Right.
Where he plays like the version of Christ that could sin, I guess. Where it's just really odd. I love Scorsese, but that's a different movie. Yeah, and even when he's not the bad guy, he's still not that good. Like in Poor Things recently, where he's still a bit of a monster, but he's got this. I guess he's today's Christopher Walken. He's got a little crazy about him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's one movie for you, Josh. I want to recommend for you. It's on Hamilton Book now. I think it's $3.95. It's nowhere streaming, and it's called Albatross.
Oh,
and it has Felicity Jones, Julia Ormond, and the girl that really stood out to me. Her name was Jessica Brown Finley. She was also in A Winter's Tale with Colin Farrell.
Oh my gosh, Julia Ormond and Gemma. Oh god,
Arterton.
Yes, they do a lot of IFC films.
Yeah.
A lot.
That
Albatross.
Albatross.
Yeah,
It's a
I got it pulled up right here.
Yeah, 2011 movie. That is such a good movie.
All right. Yeah.
We have hit our ping. Our ping has been hit. I definitely want to go ahead and thank Captain Jack that led the army into the chat. It's been one of the most populous chats I've seen. You guys really ripped it up tonight, and thank you so much for that. Thank you, Josh, for being our special guest. I hope
it was great.
We're gonna have a fun time.
Yeah, it was awesome. You did not lie to me. It was great.
And of course, aided by our fellow podcaster Kenny. And of course, you can hear Kenny's. I'll put this down in the description box. I'll put everybody's information down there, and you guys go over there and connect with Kenny and also Josh. I noticed that during what we're talking. Thanks to you guys too that we hit 1,600 subs. So how about that?
Awesome.
Congratulations!
Yay.
Way to go! That's awesome.
So we're finally on our way to 1,700. So that's exciting for us here on the channel. We will be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night I didn't get the chance to do the calendar, but I will tomorrow. Tomorrow night we will be welcoming back Louisiana filmmaker Mitch Lang will be here with us.
Awesome.
Mitch is a great guy. He really is.
Ask him if he likes Gator. Does he like Gator?
He's the only guest that I will actually. I always tell this story because it taught me a lot too. But he is the only guest that I allows to smoke on the show. I don't like smoking. It's not a good look. Yeah. So, but I had Mitch on for the very first time, and we're doing the show. It's 90 minutes, and toward the end there, I see him start to get antsy. So I'm sitting there rapping. I'm trying to hurry up. Now I'm conscious of him he's moving around a lot. So I'm thinking, okay, he's got to go to the restroom. So let me hurry the hell up here. So I go ahead, I hurry the hell up, and I hit the we're leaving. I said, okay, we're off the air. That poor guy, he was jonesing so hard for a smoke.
Oh,
I felt so bad for him. I mean, he tried. He was 90 minutes, and I said, Mitch, from now on, don't worry about that. You got the only one. You're going to be the only.
You got
person.
The one pass.
Yeah, I think you can do that because I did not want to put him through that again. Man, I felt so bad for him.
That's funny. That's me with caffeine though. I have to have something caffeinated near me all the time.
Oh yeah. If I don't have coffee,
I have my water.
Not sponsored, but I drink too much of it.
What's your go-to caffeine? Because mine's Pepsi.
So it depends. Well, my go-to as a teacher is black coffee, but no, I drink Coke, I drink sugar-free plain Red Bull, and I drink black coffee. But black coffee is my go-to. I was in the Marines many, many years ago, and we drank a lot of black coffee. So that's what I do.
I want to say real quick, say hello to Snow, who just walked in here.
Hey, Snow.
Walked in the Snow, and also Jamie Hart. Jamie Hart will also be pretty soon. She'll be bringing her own show to Saturday night, so we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to that.
It'll be great.
So tomorrow night will be Mitch Lang. Tomorrow night here at 8 o'clock. So if you're new to the channel, come on back. We do this every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock. Unless we do a European tour, then I start at 3 o'clock. But thank you so much for all hanging out tonight. I really enjoyed the show. Thank you too. You guys can stay right where you're at for a couple of minutes. I'm going to say goodnight to the chat. And again, if you haven't connected with each other, please do so. And we'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock. Mitch Lang. Peace.